everything in your life, the people, the income sources, your daily and weekly activities, your habits, all of these things. I implore you, please take the time to sit and work on your life instead of always just scurrying in your life. And if you do this, then I promise you will control your destiny. You will control your happiness. You will control the outcome.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Harder Show, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success, knowing that when good people like you make good money, they can then do great things. My name is Chris Harder, and several times per week, I will bring you epic guests, solo episodes, and every single tool, trick, and skill set you need to grow your business, grow your money mindset, and to grow your wealth to levels that you have never reached before. I've ended up in a unique place in life where I've got the experience, the connections, and all of the secrets that it takes to be successful. And I'm lifting the curtain to reveal it all to you in an effort to help put you in a position of abundance so great that you can then be as generous as possible. So let's lock arms and let's get started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Chris Harder Show, where today I am grateful for, you know what? This one's special to me. Today I'm grateful for access to concierge medical care through my doctor, Dr. Boyd. He literally probably saved my mom's life last week by having that type of care where he could quickly get her into Mayo and get her the attention she needed in the right order that she needed and be able to help them quickly analyze exactly what's going on because he knew her history and knew her condition all along. Guys, that's the best thing money can buy. And I understand not everybody can afford true concierge medical care, but if you can, it's the first place you should be spending your money. It's one of those things you kind of get around. You're like, I don't know. It doesn't seem that important. I feel healthy right now. You guys, you don't get to plan ahead for this kind of stuff. It comes out of nowhere. And when it comes out of nowhere, that's when you're going to be glad that you have it. So if you are ready to make a significant investment into making sure that you can get all the right doors open and prevent everything ahead of time, like my once a year full body executive physicals are more comprehensive than the executive physicals that Mayo offers. And that's included in it. It's like if you're really successful and you're spending your money anywhere else first, it's just dumb because it's given me so much peace of mind. In this case, saved my mom's life, very likely. So feel free to DM me. Feel free to text me. Happy to make an intro if you're serious about it. It doesn't take a lot of clients, but it is really a very important club to be a part of if you can be. So that's my gratitude. And if you're like, what in the world is this guy starting his podcast with this stuff for? I always start my solo episodes, if you're new here, with gratitude. I like to lead by example. I'm a firm believer that when it comes to gratitude, you actually don't have what you don't stop and take inventory of. And I'm guilty of it. I spend most of my life looking at the things I don't have yet, looking at all the things, this went wrong, that went wrong, or I don't have this yet, or I don't have that yet. But when you consciously build a habit out of being able to take inventory, truly stop and take inventory of what you do have, you realize, wait a minute, I got way more than I need right now, right here today. And that's enough. That's all I need. That's enough in order to get a good jumping off point towards my dreams. And that's why I share that with you guys in that example. Okay, so today I kind of want to continue this conversation that we were having last week. And by the way, thank you to all of you that reached out after last week's episode. If you haven't listened, go back and listen to it. I was talking about this life's halftime. Literally, like for people that are very upper 30s to very early 50s. I'm calling that your life's halftime, where you have to go into the locker room, take a look at the real score, and make halftime adjustments, or you're not going to be able to optimize the second half of your life. And listen, that's the space I'm in. I'm 48 years old and I do strategy better than anybody else. And even I have to do a lot of remodeling of my life and business strategy right now because the world is ever changing. As a matter of fact, life's halftime by itself is daunting. Life's halftime with AI changing everything for every single person, no matter what business you're in, takes it from daunting to like, holy shit, what is going on? I really need to make some important halftime adjustments. And if you listen to the episode last week, there's basically 5 areas that I said that I assess when I go into the locker room the past few years and make these halftime adjustments. And the first one is friends and family. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. How do you literally grade your friends and family? The second one is your finances. Are you on pace for retirement? Did you have any setbacks? Do you have any making up to do? Like, I don't have the retirement set that I actually want. I have a retirement set, but I don't have the retirement set that I want. And so I have to make some halftime adjustments to get to the retirement that I want. The third one is fun. Guys, screw everything else. I really believe that we are just here on this planet to experience and grow. And then, not to be grim, you die. That's it. How many experiences can you fit in? How much growth can you fit in? Because we're only happy if we're pursuing growth and achieving new levels. And that doesn't mean like chasing down work levels. I mean, new levels as a human, new levels in terms of life, enjoyment, relationships, you name it. So that third one is fun that you got to really analyze when you go to the locker room at halftime. The fourth one is making a list of must-dos and must-sees. I even have a list of must-dos and must-sees with my mom before she passes. Again, not to be grim, but that's important to have it planned out because what you don't plan won't happen. It's like one of the things is I want to take her back to Wilmington, which is where her and my dad had like their best 7 or 8 year period of their life. And that's when they're water skiing every day, going out every night, dancing, all that stuff. And I want her to show me around. Here's the old stomping grounds. Here's where they lived, all that stuff. That's an example of what I mean. And then the last one is vibe. And this one kind of shocked a couple of you. Like, hey, I never thought about analyzing the vibe. What is the vibe? It's the mood. It's the vibe. It's the setting. It's the energy. It's the swagger that you're living life with right now. Some of you, the vibe is low, and some of you, the vibe is high. But what is the point of living a life if not for high vibes? So just a quick recap so I can get into this rating system that I use. Friends and family, number 1. Finances, number 2. Fun, number 3. Must-dos and must-sees, number 4. And overall life's vibe. That's what you have to analyze at halftime. And everything contributes towards this. Now, how do I actually quantify this stuff? How do you quantify friends and family? How do you quantify activities that bring you fun or don't bring you fun? How do you actually measure this stuff and figure out where you want to make changes? Well, this is where it gets interesting. I use a system, a rating system, that I also use when I work with coaching clients one-on-one. This is a system I use if you're in one of our masterminds and I'm answering a question with you or we're doing a group exercise. And it works like this. I say, write down all of the individual blank. So in this case, let's go with friends and family. Write down all the family members that you spend the most time with. Write down all the friends that you spend the most time with. And write down all the people, period. Co-workers, neighbors, whoever's in your life that has a large influence on the day-to-day or the week-to-week. Write them all down, name by name. And then you rate them 1 to 5. And you cannot choose 3. This is where the exercise becomes valuable. You're going to be shocked at how tough it is to not rate people a 3 because a 3 is a cop-out. As a matter of fact, a lot of times I'll do a 1 to 10 rating with people. I'll say you can't choose 7 because 7 is a subliminal cop-out. Everyone chooses 3 on 1 to 5. Everyone chooses 7 on 1 to 10. And so I use a 1 to 5 rating. And I actually got this program. Hey, 1 to 5. 5, it gives you life, like fills you up, leaves you energized. 1, it robs you of life. It steals your energy. It leaves you drained, exhausted, and dreading it again. So 5, it gives you life. 1, it robs you of life, and you cannot choose 3. And I got this rating. It was really interesting. I was in a mastermind that Lewis Howes put on years ago, about 10 years ago. And I was in it for multiple years. But one year, Ty Lopez came and spoke. Now, at this point, I had known Ty a little bit, and he pulled me aside. We had a conversation. And he's kind of talking me through something. He said, it's easy, man. Rate it 1 to 5, and you can't choose 3. What would you rate this? 5, it gives you life. 1, it robs you of life. And I had to answer right there on the spot. I'm like, it's a 4? And I wanted to rate it a 3 because that's the safe thing to do. But when you can't rate something a 3, it forces you to put it in the 4 or 5 category, meaning it kind of gives you life or it really gives you life, or the 1-2 category where it's totally robbing you of life or it's really weighing down on your energy and kind of robbing you of life, right? So 1 to 5, 5 is it gives you life. 1, it robs you of life. You cannot choose 3. And I got that exercise from Ty years ago and I've used it ever since, and it's incredibly valuable. And so let's go back to how you can use this, because this works for if you're analyzing your income sources. If you guys have multiple income sources, each one out, 1 to 5. Does it give you life? Does it rob you of life? Doesn't matter how big it is if it's literally costing you life. That's one of the things you learn by the time you get to life's halftime. It's kind of the wisdom you learn. There's so many millions I could be making that would rob me of life, and I refuse to do it. One of those things is running a really, really, really big team. Never want to do it again. That would rob me of life. Okay, hey, real quick, I'm going to interrupt, but it's for a really good reason. Let me ask you this. How are you really feeling right now about your social media content game? And this is an important question. If I had to ask myself, I'm asking because my social media game sucked the past couple of years. I mean, it was terrible. Every time I tried to hire it out, it didn't work. Their content was totally not me. And then when I would take it back over myself, it just never got done. That was until I finally found a team that stopped confusing social media content, just putting stuff up, with actual real social media strategy. The reality is this: social media matters if you're building your business, and you can't ignore it even if you want to. Trust me, I tried. Consumers are spending over $1 trillion with a T through social media every single year, not scrolling, buying and hiring people, choosing who they trust by voting with their dollar. And it's not going to you, it's going to somebody else like me instead. That's why I want to introduce you to my personal CMO, Melissa Duglecki, and her team at the Brand Lab. I swear by her and her team. Melissa is somebody that both Lori and I have trusted with our marketing for a long time now. She's worked on our launches and our social media strategy, our copywriting, landing pages, my brand, and like much more. And in my world, I don't trust effort or intention. I'm sorry, effort and intention are not good enough. I only trust results. And we're finally getting them with Melissa and her team. Like, it feels so freaking good to see my social media go up on a consistent basis and actually like what they're putting up. So here is the deal. I've got a gift for you, but only for a few of you. I've asked Melissa to offer some of my listeners a limited number of spots to get a fully customized social media strategy, just like I got, covering your messaging, your positioning, bio, and content strategy. Now, when you use code Chris at chrisharder.me/social, that's chrisharder.me/social, you get $1,000 off as a thank you from me to you for listening. So go to chrisharder.me, that's .me/social, use code Chris and get $1,000 off as a thank you. If your social media results suck right now, like mine did, or if it feels overwhelming, trust me, just try this. The missing piece isn't more effort. That's what I was doing. It didn't work. It was the right strategy and the right team. Go to chrisharder.me/social, get $1,000 off your custom social media strategy as a thank you from me to you. So, for example, how do you build a big company like Frello? Well, I've got a co-founder, Matt. Matt is great at running teams. And we're building out so many AI agents, we probably won't hire another human from now until acquisition, maybe one or two more, but that's it, guys. So that's what I mean by like having real self-awareness about what gives you life and what robs you of life. So for your income sources, list them all out. 1 to 5. 5, it gives you life. 1, it robs you of life. You cannot choose 3. For the people in your life, list them all out. 1 to 5. 5, it gives you life. 1, it robs you of life. You can't choose 3. This works for miscellaneous obligations, miscellaneous things that you do day in and day out, week in and week out. So here's how I'm personally using it. I'm using it to analyze the people in my life during this life's halftime. I'm using it to analyze income opportunities. Just because I'm doing something doesn't mean that I'm going to keep doing it. And then the third one is, how do I spend my free time? I'm listing all those things out. And when you run them through this 1 to 5 filter, it gives you objective clarity. Because there's just so many numbers you can choose. 1 or 2, those you got to get them out of your life. 4 and 5, those are worth keeping in your life. So here's a great example. I'm looking at how I run our 2 different masterminds. And If you ask me, rate them 1 to 5, where do they fall on the category? Very transparently, I'd want to say a 3, except I'm not allowed to. So one of them, I'm not going to tell you which one, I rate a 4, and the other one I had to rate a 2. That means there's some big changes coming because I refuse to have any 1s or 2s in my life. And this is kind of a personal policy that you have to start building and sticking to. When it comes to activities in your life, you have to say, I refuse to have 1s and 2s. Doesn't mean you can change it overnight, by the way, but it just means that if something is a 1 or a 2 and it's robbing you of life, you have an obligation to change it as soon as you can. That's very important. Let me repeat this because this is where some of you get hung up. This is where some of you get stuck. If something is a 1 or 2, you should refuse to have any 1s or 2s in your life. But it doesn't mean you can change it overnight. It just means that now that you're aware of it and you've put a rating on it, you have an obligation to get rid of it as soon as you can. As soon as you can might take 6 months. As soon as you can might take a year. As soon as you can might take a week. It might take 2 years. But you have to be working towards turning that Titanic if it's a 1 or a 2. You cannot just let it keep going towards the iceberg. That's asinine. It's asinine that we've been programmed to the point where we'd accept 1s and 2s in our life when life should be full of 4s and 5s on this scale. And so I'm using that for our income sources. How do we earn money today? Even if it's the biggest way that we earn money, where does it fall on the scale? And if it's a 1 or 2, it's got to change. Now, what does change look like? Sometimes a change means scrapping it all together and starting something new, but not always. Sometimes change looks like, all right, what in here makes it a 1 or a 2? What in here makes it a 4 or a 5? And I do this with clients when I work with you one-on-one, whether we're doing just a one-on-one strategy session, as a one-off for a couple hours or a day, or whether you're like one of my true one-on-one clients where we're all working together all the time. I do these ratings all the time with you on everything. And if it's a 1 or a 2, we have to say, what's causing it to be a 1 or a 2? Is it the whole damn thing? Then we got to throw it out. But it might not be. It might just be you don't like being on Zoom. Or it might just be you don't like being really accessible during these certain hours. Or it might be you don't like the type of marketing that you have to do it. And so you have to rethink, well, how would I remarket this if marketing is the only reason that's making this a 1 or a 2? And to take this concept of 1s and 2s even further, a 1 is a must run from it as soon as you can. A 2 is, hey, it's robbing you of life, but it's probably salvageable if you made some changes. So on this scale, that should help you a little bit too. A 1 is this puppy's got to go. It's probably unrecoverable in any form. A 2 is, yep, it's robbing you of life, but probably only certain parts of it. So for everything in your life, the people, the income sources, your daily and weekly activities, your habits, all of these things, I implore you, please take the time to sit and work on your life instead of always just scurrying in your life, and write these down, list them out, put a private and objective rating, 1 to 5. 5, it gives you life. 1, it robs you of life. You cannot choose 3 for each one of these things. And for the 1s and 2s, decide, are you getting it out of your life? And if so, how quickly? Or do you just need to change significant features about that person or that activity or that income source? And if you do this during life's halftime, or any part of your life, quite frankly, then I promise you will control your destiny. You will control your happiness. You will control the outcome. You cannot always control the circumstances in the moment, but if you do things like this, you absolutely can control the outcome. That's the part that is your responsibility, and that should be exciting, good news for you. Because when you do, you know what I always say? That's when good people like you make good money and you can do great things. And I'm going to add, in an elegant way, that's a 4 or a 5, baby. By the way, we're going to do activities like this on the very first Found trip coming up the very end of September. We're 6 weeks away. We have 1 spot left. If somebody wants to join us, text me, call me, DM me. Feel free to ask any questions you want about it. We're doing a 4-day luxurious trip up the coast of California with 10 incredible entrepreneurs. The list already, the 9 out of 10 that are already there, you want to be on this trip. We're talking financial geniuses, marketing geniuses, aesthetic geniuses. Oh my God, you absolutely want to be on this thing. But most importantly, we're carving out what I call highly curated but slow-paced time. Day 1, meeting cool people, bonding together. Day 2, meeting a cool founder, people that you probably wouldn't meet otherwise. Day 3, doing really cool things together, really fun stuff. And day 4, setting really cool intentional goals. And that's where we're going to do some of these exercises. So if you want to go on this trip, if you want to grab that last spot, text me, DM me at Chris W. Harder. We'll have a conversation, and I can't wait to see who rounds it out. Thanks for listening, guys. Love and appreciate you.
Thanks for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who is as successful as they are generous, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you help me get this cause and this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way if you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful. And until the next episode, cheers to your success.